So dudes, this is a comprehensive guide to site setup in Rainbow Six Siege. If you're brand new to the game, this is a perfect video to get your feet on the ground. The one thing every defender is responsible for, regardless of whether they have a shotgun, is to reinforce walls. Typically, defenders are going to reinforce what they're responsible for playing around. So for site anchors, they're going to play the anchor walls, and then for roamers, they can roam up top and get hatches. When you're brand new to the game, you might see a reinforced wall with head level holes to the side like this, and it would be understandable to look at this and go, okay, well, sometimes you put a double wall, but sometimes you don't. What's up with that? This is a more obvious example of where not to put head level holes. Because for cafe reading, as you can see here, attackers can get angles shooting here from brown stairs. They have many pieces of hard cover to swing off of, these pillars. They can hit from snow window. This big double window here gives them a pathway. If they get control of mining, etc., etc., it's just a big mess. This is a wall that the attackers would want opened because it is a wide open space for them to get gunfighting angles in and pierce apart the angles the defenders are holding with. So in this example, we are not going to put head level holes next to a reinforcement. An example of when to put a head level hole would be here for a top floor extend. The reason being, the attackers are chokeholded here. There is a small single doorway here in Cigar and a heavy swing for them to come from New Balk. And maybe they can go through Freezer if they're feeling spicy. But really, you only have two angles to worry about here and here. And if you want to get frisky, you can swing New Balk if you want. As an attacker, I have limited options to hit that head level hole. So this is an example of when it's appropriate. You want less gunfighting angles for the attack. That's when it's appropriate. A whole bunch of them in a wide open space, that's not appropriate. All right, what about hatches? Well, in this case, as a defender, we're gonna actually open this hatch, not reinforce it. The reason being is that this is a top floor extend. We anticipate that we're going to concede this map control eventually. It's going to be really fortunate and maybe a little lucky if we manage to win the round off of gunfights on the top floor alone. When things get too hot, or we get a pick, or we lose somebody, we're going to run, hop down the hatch, and then hold the site from inside. And now I can show you the difference between a vault rotate and a crouch rotate and when they're appropriate to make. You shouldn't make this. I'm only doing it for a demonstration. This is a vault rotate. You don't want to make this in this position. This is just for demonstration. And you can see immediately why it might not be a good idea, because as an attacker, if I drop this hatch, I have a ton of gunfighting angles I can play from. This gives me something. This gives me some gunfighting, and that's not good. So I'm going to reinforce this because this is not appropriate. And instead, I'm going to make the appropriate rotate here, which is a crouch rotate. Don't worry if it takes a couple more shots than you may feel, embarrassed to admit. And it's important that this is a crouch level rotate because, as you can see, this is a one-way angle. So I can't see anybody who's playing head level on this dresser. I don't have any gunfighting angles this way because of the line of sight concealment. As a defender, I don't care about that because my defending teammates aren't going to shoot me in the feet, hopefully. So this is okay. This is friendly territory, and this can be a crouch rotate. But we don't want it to be a vault rotate for all the reasons that I stated earlier. And that should show you the importance of a one-way angle, which we're going to make here on Reading Cafe. This is an example of a strong anchor room because there's standing cover here, head level cover here. This is a strong position because it has cover. This is not a strong anchor position. There's one piece of hard cover, and this is really awkward to maneuver and leaves you just a sitting duck. This is the only piece of standing hard cover in the entire room. In the room is a small rectangle. It's a narrow rectangle. It is a coffin to die in if you're a defender. There's just no point in playing inside this room. So what can we do if we're trying to keep the enemy from planting the diffuser? Well, we can hold the room from the outside. So we're going to make a bunch of foot level holes. And you can keep your cursor kind of bloomed out with a shotgun by just making sure that you're hitting one of the movement keys while you are shotgunning like this. Which in this case is going to help because depending on what you're shooting, the drywall or whatever is going to be a little bit more difficult to crack apart. So pretty self-explanatory. Again, from our laundry rotate example. If an attacker runs in and wants to plant, they can't see me, but I can see them. To make it a little bit easier to hold this piece of map control, I'm going to put 2 head level holes here on the wall, and then foot level holes here for red itself, and some barbed wire. The barbed wire at this juncture can be placed kind of, you know, by this cover. In this case, it is okay for the first set to be an auditory cue rather than the CCing effect itself. An attacker will come by, melee this, and then as soon as you hear the melee, you know that somebody is there. Then the second set of barbed wire will be the proper CCing. But as you can see here, as a defender, with these head level holes, I can play all the way in the back here and shoot anybody crouching through this little fireplace thing. The further away you are from the angle, the more concealed you can be. And the closer you are to a one-way angle, the more of a disadvantage you're at. Additionally, I can have some head level holes here. For the brief period of time that a defender can play in this room, you're only going to have 1 or 2 opportunities to win a gunfight here. Shoot anybody coming into train, and if it's not working out, immediately retreat from that position. Now, what about this wall? You got to think about what the attackers can do with those holes. If the attackers get top floor control and they come down white, and what they see is these head level holes, yeah, theoretically they can fight it, but they're going to reveal their feet first. And to avoid that, they're going to have to crouch in. So in this example, this is more of a defender-sided hole. Because let's say a castle with a UMP and an ACOG, right? He can come down here and then hold it with his ACOG from a long distance like that. So this is appropriate. What is not appropriate would be something like this, where as an attacker, I can just come up white stairs. Let's say a Nook sneaks past the camera. Boom, 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 right? I have a free flank. So this is bad. So don't do this. And I used reading as an example to demonstrate site setup because it has a lot of different moving parts that seem a little bit weird and intimidating for new Siege players, but it's actually a great example of how to talk about pretty much every facet of site setup that you can think of. Foot level holes, head level holes, double reinforcements, crouch rotates versus vault rotates, the whole 9 yards. So if this video helped you, give it a like. And if somebody needs some help learning the game, share it with them. Let me know what other tips you would like some help with learning Siege X in the comments below. Thank you so much. Deuces.